Hey there, welcome to the Focus Podcast with Tara Lee. This is the place where we talk about real life, real relationships, and how to grow through it all. If you're looking for simple mindset shifts, better communication, and deeper connections, you're in the right spot. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Focus Podcast with Tara Lee. Men, today this episode is for you. So if you are a husband or a man who's separated or a man who feels like your wife is pulling away, or maybe she's already said that she needs space, or maybe she's told you that she doesn't know if she wants this marriage anymore, I want you to stay with me today because I'm talking directly to you. And I want you to know something right from the very beginning. You are not weak because this matters to you. You're not pathetic because you're scared. You're not less of a man because your marriage is hurting and you don't know what to do. In fact, the men I work with are usually not men who don't care. They care deeply. They are trying. They're thinking about it all the time. They're replaying conversations. They're reading books. They're listening to podcasts. They're trying to figure out what to say, what not to say, when to reach out, when to back off, how to show love, and how to not make things worse. And honestly, that can become exhausting because when your marriage feels like it's slipping through your fingers, it can feel like everything you do matters. Every text, every conversation, every tone, every silence, every look, and it's a lot to carry. So today I want to talk to you about something that may change the way you understand what is happening inside your marriage. I want to talk about why trying harder is not always helping, and why your effort may not be landing the way you think it is. And most importantly, I want to talk about what actually begins to shift things, because there is a reason so many men feel like they're doing everything they can, and somehow still creating more distance. That doesn't mean there is no hope. It means you need a different kind of work, not more panic, not more chasing, not more explaining, not more trying to prove that you care. A different kind of work. The kind of work that helps you become steady enough to lead yourself well, no matter what she does next. So let's talk about that. One of the most painful things I see with men in marriage crisis is this gap between effort and impact. And this is where a lot of men feel completely defeated. Because they will say to me, I'm trying, I'm doing the things, I'm listening more, I'm reading, I'm apologizing, I'm trying to be more present, I'm trying to not get defensive, I'm trying to show her that I care. And I believe them. Most men I work with are not lazy, they are not checked out, they're not indifferent. By the time they reach out to me, they are usually working incredibly hard. But here's the part that feels so confusing. Even with all that effort, their wife may still seem cold, still distant, still guarded, still unsure, still angry, still not convinced. And that is where a man starts to feel like, what else am I supposed to do? Because in most areas of life, effort creates results. If you work harder at your job, you usually see progress. If you train harder at the gym, you usually get stronger. If you study more, you usually perform better. But marriage crisis does not always work that way. In marriage crisis, more effort does not always create more safety. More words don't always create more connection. More apologies don't always create more trust. More intensity does not always communicate love. Sometimes it communicates pressure. And that is really hard to hear, especially when your intention is good, because you may be thinking, but I'm doing this because I love her. And I believe you. But this is where I want you to slow down and really hear me. Your intention and her experience are not always the same thing. You may intend to show love, but she may experience pressure. You may intend to reassure her, but she may experience neediness. You may intend to fix the disconnection, but she may experience you trying to pull her into a conversation she's not ready to have. You may intend to prove that you are changing, but she may experience that as panic because she has seen you change for a few days before and then go back to the old pattern. And that gap between what you mean and what she feels is where so many couples get stuck. And for men, this is often where discouragement starts because you're thinking, I can't win. If I say something, it's wrong. If I don't say something, it's wrong. If I reach out, I'm pressuring her. If I give her space, she thinks I don't care. And suddenly you feel like you're walking through a minefield. That is why this work cannot just be about figuring out the perfect words. This is deeper than words. This is about the energy underneath your words. This is about the nervous system behind your actions. This is about whether you are coming from fear or from steadiness, because she can feel the difference, even if you are saying all the right things. I want to explain what's happening inside of you when your marriage feels threatened, because once you understand this, you will start to see your patterns differently. When your wife pulls away, when she is quiet, when she says, I don't know, when she doesn't respond to your text, when she says she needs space, your body can read that as danger, not just emotional discomfort. Danger. Your nervous system reacts like something important is at risk, because it is. Your marriage matters to you. Your family matters to you. The future you thought you were building matters to you. So your body goes into protection mode. Your heart rate goes up. Your brain starts scanning for meaning. You start trying to figure out what she meant, what she's thinking, what you should say, what you should do, how to stop this from getting worse. And from that place, your actions can start to feel urgent. So you explain more, you text more, you ask more questions, try to have one more conversation to get clarity, to get reassurance, to try to convince her that you understand now, to try to show her that this time is different. And again, to you, it feels like love. But if fear is driving it, she often feels the fear more than she feels the love. And that is the part that men often don't realize. You think she's rejecting your love, but sometimes she's protecting herself from your fear, because fear has a certain energy. Fear pushes. Fear grabs. Fear needs an answer right now. Fear tries to close the gap immediately. Fear wants relief. And if she's already overwhelmed, hurt, or guarded, your fear does not feel safe for her. It feels like pressure, and pressure cannot create closeness. Pressure usually creates distance. So now you have two people trying to feel safe. You're trying to feel safe by getting reassurance. She's trying to feel safe by getting space. You move toward her, she moves away. You panic, she feels more pressure. You try harder, she gets more guarded. And now the pattern is running the marriage. Not love, not wisdom, not intention, the pattern. This is why I tell men all the time, your first job is not to get her to calm down. Your first job is not to get her to understand you. Your first job is not to get her to see how much you have changed. Your first job is to learn how to lead yourself. Because if you cannot lead yourself when you feel hurt or scared or rejected or uncertain, then your fear will lead the conversation for you. And fear is not a good leader. Now, when I talk about being steady, I don't mean being cold. I don't mean being detached. And I don't mean pretending that you don't care. And I definitely don't mean stuffing your feelings down and acting like everything is fine. That is not steadiness. That's suppression. And there's a huge difference. Steadiness means you can feel the fear without letting the fear take over. It means you can feel the sadness without making your wife responsible to fix it. It means you can feel the uncertainty without demanding immediate clarity. It means you can feel the ache of missing her without sending the text that is really just an attempt to get relief. It means you can pause long enough to ask yourself, what is actually happening here? What story am I telling myself? What emotion is driving me right now? What action am I about to take? And will this create more safety or more pressure? And this is not weakness, this is strength. This is emotional leadership. And for many men, it's a completely different kind of strength than what they were taught, because a lot of men were taught to perform, to provide, to solve, to protect, and push through. And those things can be beautiful, but in a marriage crisis, you also need the ability to slow down, to reflect, to stay present, to listen without defending, to tolerate discomfort without trying to fix it immediately, to let your wife have her experience without making it about your fear. This is the kind of strength that creates emotional safety. And here is what I've seen happen over and over again. When a man starts becoming steadier, his wife may not immediately say, "Wow, thank you, I feel safe now." She may still be guarded. She may still be skeptical. She may still be watching to see if this lasts, but she feels something different. She feels less pressure. She feels less emotional weight. She feels less like she has to manage your reaction. She feels less like every conversation is going to turn into a debate, an explanation, or a breakdown. And over time, that really matters, because trust is not usually rebuilt through one big conversation. Trust is rebuilt through repeated experiences of safety again and again. This is why the work has to become who you are, not just something you do when she's watching. This is where my focus framework becomes so important, because one of the biggest things men need to learn in marriage crisis is how to separate facts from stories. And it sounds simple, but in real life, when your marriage feels uncertain, it's not really simple at all. Let me give you an example. The fact is, she didn't respond to your text for 3 hours. The story you're creating is she's done. She doesn't care. She's probably talking to someone else. I've already lost her. She's never going to trust me again. She's just trying to punish me. Those are not facts. Those are stories. And I'm not saying they're impossible. I'm saying that they're not facts. But when your brain is scared, it treats the story like it's reality. And then you respond to the story instead of the fact. So now, instead of simply noticing she hasn't responded yet, you send a second text, and then a third, and then maybe a long explanation, then maybe an apology, then maybe, "I just don't understand why you won't talk to me." And now what has started as a 3-hour gap has become more pressure, not because you're a terrible person, but because your brain wrote a whole story and your nervous system reacted to that story. Here's another example. The fact is, she was quiet at dinner. The story that you've created is that she hates being around me. She's emotionally gone. This is never going to work. She's thinking about divorce right now. She does not see any of the changes that I'm making. Again, these are stories. And when you act from those stories, you create results from fear. You might get quiet and you might start feeling resentful. You might try to force a conversation. You might ask, "Are we okay?" for the 5th time. You might start explaining all the work that you've been doing. And what happens here? She feels more pressure. You feel more rejected. And the pattern just gets stronger. This is why the first part of my focus framework is facts first. Not because facts make everything easy, but because facts bring you back to reality. And reality is where you actually have power. You don't have power inside the story your fear created. You have power when you slow down and say, "What do I actually know? What am I adding? What is my brain making this mean? What would I do if I were responding from steadiness instead of panic?" And that one shift can change everything about how you show up. Now, I want to say something really directly. Most men are trying to do this work alone. And I understand why. You may not want to tell your friends what is really happening. You may not want your family involved. And you may not want people judging your wife. You may not want to look weak. You may not want to admit how bad it really feels. And you may not even know how to explain it. Because on the outside, you might still be going to work, still functioning, still handling life, still showing up for your kids, still doing what needs to be done. But inside, you feel like you are barely holding it together. And that is a lonely place to live. It's lonely to be the man who is trying to save his marriage but does not know if she even wants it. It's lonely to be the man who is finally seeing his part but doesn't know if it's too late. And it's lonely to be the man who is trying to change but keeps getting pulled back into old patterns. It's lonely to be the man who wants support but doesn't want to sit in a room where everyone just blames their spouse. And this is why support matters. Not because you're incapable, not because you're broken, but because this kind of change requires practice. You need a place to slow down the moments that keep taking you out. You need a place to say, here's what happened, here's what I made it mean, here's what I wanted to do, and have someone else help you see the pattern. You need a place where you're not judged, but you're also not allowed to hide. You need a place where ownership is expected, where emotional steadiness is practiced, where you can learn how to become safe, stronger, more grounded in real time. This is why I created the Men's Focus Group. The Men's Focus Group is not a place to vent about your wife. It's not a place where we sit around blaming women. It's not a place where I give you tricks to get her back. It's not a place where you show up once a week, then listen passively and hope your marriage magically changes. This is an 8-week small group coaching experience for men who are ready to become more emotionally steady, safe, and intentional with their relationship. It's for men who want to stop reacting from fear, men who want to understand their patterns, men who want to take ownership without drowning in shame, men who want to communicate in a way that creates more safety instead of more pressure. For men who want to become the kind of man they respect, no matter what happens next. Inside this group, we will use my focus framework. Facts first, own your thoughts, choose your feelings, understand your actions, shape your results. That means when something happens in your marriage, we slow it all the way down. What are the facts? What story did your brain create? What feeling came from that story? And what did that feeling make you want to do? And what result did that action create? Did it create safety or did it create pressure? Did it create connection or did it create more distance? Did it reflect the man you are becoming or did it reflect the fear you are trying to outgrow? This is the work, and it's so powerful because it gives you something concrete to do with all of the emotion that you're carrying right now. Instead of spinning in your head, you learn how to process what's happening. Instead of reacting automatically, you learn how to pause. Instead of trying to control her response, you learn how to lead your own. And that is where your power is. Now, I want to be very clear about who this group is for. This group is for the man who knows he has patterns that aren't helping. For the man who can admit, I have been reactive. I have been defensive. I have pushed when I should have paused. I have explained when I should have listened. I have tried to get reassurance instead of becoming reassuring. I have let fear lead me. This group is for the man who wants to change that. Not just so his wife will come back, not just so she will calm down, not just so the marriage will survive, but because he knows he does not want to keep living from fear. This group is for the man who is willing to look at himself honestly, not with shame, not with self-attack, but with ownership, because ownership is not the same as blame. Ownership says, I can see my part and I can do something with it. That is where change begins. This group is not for the man who just wants someone to tell him that it's all her fault. And it's not for the man looking for manipulation tactics. It's not for the man who wants a quick fix without doing the work. And this is not for the man who wants to show up and be rescued. But if you are a man who is willing to practice, willing to be coached, willing to be honest, willing to become steadier, then this group was built for you. The men's focus group is for the man who is done reacting from fear and who is ready to become safe, steady, and intentional in the relationship that matters most to you. This is not about becoming perfect. This is about becoming steady. This is not about learning the perfect thing to say. This is about becoming the kind of man whose presence feels safer than his panic. This is not about controlling whether she stays or goes. This is about learning to lead yourself with clarity, courage, and emotional maturity no matter what happens next. This is what the men's focus group is designed to help you do. And I want to tell you why this matters right now. Because when a marriage is in crisis, waiting can feel safer. You can tell yourself, maybe I should give it more time, or maybe I should wait and see what she does next. Maybe I should wait to figure this out on my own first. Maybe things will settle down. And sometimes space is good. Sometimes slowing down is wise. But avoiding the work is not the same as giving it space. If the pattern is still running, time alone does not fix it. If you are still reacting from fear, time alone does not make you feel safer. If she's still experiencing you as pressure, time alone does not rebuild trust. If you are spinning in the same thoughts every night, time alone does not create clarity. The work has to be practiced. And the sooner you learn how to interrupt the pattern, the sooner you stop adding more damage to something that already feels fragile. That's why I want you to take this seriously. Not with panic, not with pressure, but with honesty. If you know you need support, this is the moment to get it. The men's focus group is open right now for registration. This is the first round. That means the investment is lower than it will be for future rounds. And it also means the group is intentionally small. I want this first group to have room for real coaching, real practice, and real support. So there's only a small number of spots available, and once those spots are gone, they're gone. If you have been listening to this podcast or reading the blog or watching my posts and something in you keeps saying, I need this, I want you to listen to that. Not because you're desperate, but because you're ready to stop doing this alone. Ready to stop reacting from fear. Ready to stop trying to prove you care in ways that create more pressure. Ready to become steadier. Ready to become safer. Ready to become more intentional in the relationship that matters to you most. You can go to taralee.eddington.com to find out more information about the men's focus group, or if you're seeing this on social media, you can comment the word group and I will send you the details. Again, this group is small and the beta pricing will not be available again, and the next round it will be at a higher investment. So if you want in, now is the time to grab your spot. Now, I want to leave you with this. The work you do right now matters, not just for your marriage, but for you. For your kids, for the way that you lead, for the way that you love, for the way that you handle hard things, for the man you are becoming. Because whether your marriage is repaired, rebuilt, or still uncertain, becoming a steadier version of yourself is never wasted work. It will change how you show up in every room. It will change how you respond under pressure. It will change how you carry yourself. It will change what you create next. So men, if this episode felt like it was speaking directly to you, I hope you don't just listen and move on. Do something with it. Take the next step. Get support. Start practicing, because trying harder is not the same as becoming steadier. And your marriage doesn't need more panic. It needs a man who is learning how to lead himself well. Thank you for being here with me today on the Focus Podcast. If you know someone who might need to hear this episode, please share it with them and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Remember, what you focus on expands. Thanks for hanging out with me today on the Focus Podcast. If something stood out or helped you in some way, feel free to share it or leave a quick review. It means a lot. Keep showing up, keep growing, and I'll catch you in the next episode.